Hi, today's Bible study is about Is COVID-19 the end of the world? Let's see what does the Bible prophecy says about the end of the world. What are the signs of God's coming? Matthew 24, 5 to 8 says, For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and see that he be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Luke 21, 8 to 11. And he said, Take heed that he be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and the time draweth near. Go ye not therefore after them. But when he shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines and pestilences, and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. Mark 13:21 to 25. And then, if any man say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or Lo, he is here, believe him not, for false Christ and false prophets shall rise, and shall show signs and wonders to seduce, if it were possible, even the elect. But take ye heed, behold, I have foretold you all things. But in those days after that tribulation, the sun shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars of heaven shall fall. The powers that are in heaven shall be shaken. So from these three verses, we just saw that there are few things that are getting repeated, like false Christ, false prophets, pestilences, disasters, wars, tribulations, etc. So these things will be heard, but the near is not yet. This is just a beginning of sorrows. Why should the world end? And has it happened before? Yes, it has happened during the days of Noah. Genesis 6:11 to 13. The earth was so corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence, and God looked upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all the flesh that corrupted his way upon the earth. And God said unto Noah, The end of the flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I will destroy them with the earth. Second Peter chapter 2 5. And did not spare the ancient world, but preserved Noah, a preacher of righteous, with 7 others, when he brought a flood upon the world of the ungodly. Luke 17:26 to 27. And just as it happened in the days of Noah, so it will be also in the days of the Son of Man. They were eating, they were drinking, they were marrying, and they were being given in marriage until the day that Noah entered the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. So this was talking about the destruction of the complete world just before the Noah entered into the ark. But has God destroyed any particular places before? Yes, places like Sodom and Gomorrah. Genesis 13:30. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. Genesis 18:20. And the Lord said, Because the cry of the Sodom and Gomorrah is great, because the sin is very grievous, he destroyed them. And other places, Adman and Zeboim, places that were destroyed also. Deuteronomy 29:23, and that the whole world, whole land thereof is brimstone and salt and burning. It is not sown, not beareth, nor any grass groweth therein, like the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah and Zeboim, which the Lord overthrew in his anger and his wrath. So, because of the wickedness, the sin the people committed, the drastic change in their behavior, God was furious about their character and their attitudes, and God had to destroy the world before Noah, and God had to destroy some places even after Noah. So, what are the biblical common reasons for destruction? Proverbs 11:11. By the blessing of the upright, the city is exalted, but it is overthrown by the mouth of the wicked. So wickedness. Amos 4:11. I have overthrown some of you as God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and beware as the firebrand plucked out of the burning. Yet have ye not returned unto me, saith the Lord. So when you go away from God, God destroys the place. Jeremiah 4:26. I beheld, and lo, the fruitful place was a wilderness, and all the cities thereof were broken down at the presence of the Lord, and by his fierce anger. So his anger destroys the place. 2 Timothy 3:1-7. This is most applicable for nowadays. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be one, lovers of their own selves, which is what is happening nowadays, covetousness, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. Very apt for nowadays. Having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. Ever learning, never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. See, nowadays people are even ready to accept that they are God, but they don't understand that there is God who created them. So these are the things that God has already told us to be very careful, the reasons for the destructions to be done. Is God going to destroy the world with water or fire? No more with water, but yes, with fire. So is it some forest fire or something? No ways. It's not some forest fire. It's called as hell, which is going to be rain from heaven. Still, it is not existing, but at the time of destruction of the world, God will pour his brimstones from heaven. We would be learning that later on. But Genesis 9:11, and I will establish my covenant with you, neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the waters of the flood, neither shall there be any more be a flood to destroy the earth. So God clearly told us that he won't destroy the world with flood or with water. 2 Peter 3:12, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. So it is heat and fire that is used for destroying. Revelation 21:8. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable, murderers, warmongers, sorcerers, idolaters, all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. 2 Peter 3:10. By the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heaven shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. So, it is with fire God is going to destroy the world, yes, but do we know when it is going to happen? No, we do not know when, but God has given us some indicators of end time events, and this we are going to see in our next video. So what does Spirit of Prophecy according to Ellen G. White writings in Last Day Events, page 2 tells about this? The present is a time of overwhelming interest to all living, rulers and statesmen, Men who occupy positions of trust and authority. Thinking men and women of all classes have their attention fixed upon the events taking place about us. They are watching the relations that exist among the nations. They observe the intensity that is taking possession of every earthly element, and they recognize that something great and decisive is about to take place, and the world is on the verge of a stupendous crisis. This is according to Prophets and Kings, page 537. The calamities by land and sea, the unsettled state of society, the alarms of war are portentous. They forecast approaching events of the greatest multitude. The agencies of evil are combining their forces and consolidating. They are strengthening for the last great crisis. Great changes are soon to take place in our world, and the final moments will be rapid ones. This is according to Testimonies for the Church 9:11. Troublous time soon to come. The time of trouble which is to increase until the end is very near at hand. We have no time to lose. The world is stirred with the spirit of war. The prophecies of the Daniel 11th have almost reached their final fulfillment. The Review and Herald, according this was written in 1904. The time of trouble such as was not since there was a nation, Daniel 12:1, is right upon us, and we are like the sleeping virgins. We are to wake and ask the Lord Jesus to place underneath us his everlasting arms, carry us through the time of trial before us. Manuscript Releases 3305. The world is becoming more and more lawless. Soon great trouble will rise among the nations, trouble that will not cease until Jesus comes. Review and Herald, February 904. We are on the very verge of the time of trouble, and perplexities that are scarcely dreamt of are before us. Testimonies for the Church 943-909. We are standing on the threshold of the crisis of the ages. In quick succession, the judgments of God will follow one another: fire, flood, earthquake, with war and bloodshed. Prophets and Kings 278. There are stormy times before us, but let us not utter one word of unbelief or discouragement. Christian Service 1905. So these are the things taken from Spirit of Prophecy. So in the next video, we are going to see what are the events that God has told us will happen and how is it going to happen. So God bless us all. Let's get ready for our next video in the next session. Thank you.